Pretty Little Liars, the TV show, sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We provided a list of content warnings in the episode description. To Dead Ends. I'm Emily.
I'm Brenton.
And we have 2 new episodes of Pretty Little Liars to recap and try to make sense of.
That's right.
Mostly,
This one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I also they were boring.
You know, I thought that there's not a ton going on. They were all right.
I had a hard time coming up with questions because I'm just kind of like, what's going to happen next?
You're just kind of rolling along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long will Ashley be in jail?
Not very long. Hopefully.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. But at least my assumption is like, she gets out next week and I'm right. But they could be like we could find out next week that the police are like, Mona's full of shit.
Mona's absolutely batshit crazy.
She is full of shit. As I was thinking over these episodes today, I know we always talk about Spencer and Toby. And at least for me, speaking for me, it's like always, talking about our favorites being Toby and all that stuff. But I just want to let everybody know that like I like Spencer, I like Toby. Mona is like a tier above the rest of them. Like if we had to like throw down on any characters, it's absolutely Mona is like top tier A-list. She's
on the A-list?
Yes, exactly. A tier. Because that's above S tier in this continuity. That's just my favorite character.
I still don't understand those tiers, but
why it goes to S?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know either.
If you know, let us know in the comments, please. Yeah. Teach us something.
There you go.
Or don't. You know what? Honestly, it's not your job. It's fine. We can look it up.
Yeah, just move on.
But no, Mona is like queen boss babe, if you will.
Yeah.
She is Cutco. She is Party Light.
She's all 3 boss babe wrap up in one. She's gaslight, she's gatekeep, she's girl boss.
That is 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
And she's always got an angle.
Yeah. Especially at the end of this episode, she must have an angle. See, that's what I like that with Mona is at least my read on it. It's like there's a little bit of she's got an angle for it because she's not just going to do things like
but she's
for
saving
no reason.
Hanna.
Exactly. So she's got like her own reasons, but can it also work out for Hanna? I think so. Well, but we have a Hardy Boys episode to recap. Episode 78, season 4, episode 7. Crash and burn, girl.
Go piss, girl.
That's exactly what went through my head. That's what I had to stifle. Okay. Spencer and Emily are cleaning dishes at Hannah's house. Emily struggles to put a bowl on a shelf because of her shoulder, and Spencer helps her out. Emily says her shoulder still feels awful, and then Spencer reiterates that Toby isn't ready to talk about his deal yet. Arya comes in, happy that Spencer and Emily are talking, but says Hanna won't eat. Arya asks what the status of Ashley's arraignment is, and Emily says Tom won't let Hanna go to any of the meetings, and Spencer vows to look into it. Hanna is up in her room talking to Caleb on the phone and says, don't do anything stupid. He's like, you won't lose me. It'll be no problem. I'm going to come back when I find something to clear the murder charges. Caleb hangs up the phone and we see that Toby is there helping him out. He asks, are you ready to do this? And then we have this like musical moment where they look at their theory board and they're like, yeah. It's like, like rock music, like going over like boys are suiting up.
The boys are back in town.
Sets expectations sky high for what these two can accomplish. Emily gets ready for school as Pam walks by her room. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself on where all this goes. As Pam walks by, just a brief pause. To find myself that the Emily and Pam storyline would be like the highlight of these is bananas to me. Pam walks by her room on the phone. Pam says someone at the station says we should try Prolotherapy to heal your shoulder. It's like you'll go in for about once a week for 2 months, and hopefully you like won't have to have like surgery. They're worried about the money to pay for it, but Pam's hopeful that like it'll like help heal things. Emily keeps getting interrupted by Hannah's text, and Pam says, I know you want to be there for her, but right or wrong, her mom's been accused of murder. And she should just spend time with her father.
Oh.
Pam,
you're going to be accused of something real soon.
She already is. Good God. At school, we see Connor's car out front, like still all messed up, and everybody's gawking at it. Arya and Mike talk about how Connor can't afford to get a new car. Mike says whoever did it knows Connor's a wuss. Arya looks at him suspicious because he didn't come to the open mic and asks if he stayed home. Mike looks mad and says, like, that car was mashed by something other than a lacrosse stick. I only play lacrosse. I couldn't possibly have, like, some other thing like a bat. Hanna visits Ashley alone at the jail. Tom didn't come with her, but Kate and Isabel seem to be okay with, like, him hanging around and send their regards. Ashley's like, oh, joy. Hanna and Ashley discuss what she'll wear in court and advisements from Veronica on what to wear. Hanna mentions getting tickets to a public auction event and keeps trying to encourage Ashley that, like, once she's out of here, we'll go. And Ashley keeps trying to pump the brakes on that. But then Hanna tries to make her promise to be her date to that event. They try to touch, but a guard interrupts them and says, no touching. And Hanna says, you're going with me, okay?
It's an Arrested Development moment for sure.
Yes. Caleb and Toby look into the tail number from the plane that landed at the lodge that Spencer had somehow remembered off screen. It's only partial, but Caleb can't find anything on it. Toby thinks this is the best shot at finding A. Caleb asks if Toby thinks Allie's alive, and Toby says, for all I know, she's the one who clocked me. Caleb wonders how Redcoat was able to get back to and set up the police car. Caleb found Toby's mom's file in there and it says, hey, maybe this blonde girl that's mentioned in here is the same. And Toby gets mad and says that has nothing to do with this. Caleb looks suspicious but drops it.
Don't look at my stuff.
Yeah. Toby found Toby's search on the computer finds a private plane that matches and they go to follow up on it. At school, Emily says Shauna hasn't been seen at all since the open mic night. Hanna says she'll definitely pop up again. Emily says, or sees like guys staring down Hanna, and so she goes to confront them. Fitz steps in and says, I'll take it from here, Mrs. Fields. And then
Fields?
Miss Fields, oh yeah, Mrs. Fields. Sorry, Miss Fields is her mother. Emily leaves for class and Fitz checks in with Hanna.
And the cookies.
So confused for a second. I was like, she made cookies? I mean, Pam, of course, would make cookies.
Mrs.
But
Fields cookies.
Yes, the cookies. I was just like, what are you talking about? I get it. Hanna says everyone is judging me and wonders if she can get an IOU on her paper, and he agrees. She thanks him for being a decent guy, and he looks quite chuffed with himself. We get this weird-ass blocking in this scene where Arya's walking upstairs and the vice principal stops her.
But he steps above her?
Yeah, so then we get, like, her like this. We get this, like, shot, like, staring down at her, but her looking up, and then the shot from him coming down. I don't know. They're trying new things, I guess, but, like, it looks weird.
They're making the really short girl crane her neck. I don't appreciate that.
No. And the vice principal's like, I got a call from the police department and your brother might be involved. And he's like, where's your brother? And she's like, or where was your brother that night? And asks if she knew anything about this. Arya covers for him, says he was at home video calling with their mom. He asks if Mike is still taking his medication. Bad move. And Arya says yes. He lets Arya go. Emily visits Pam at the police station. She asks if Tanner is in, but Pam says, oh, I only saw her in passing, meaning that she's not in these episodes. Pam asks why, and Emily says, oh, she came by the open mic, and I wanted to know if she liked it, meaning that, like, her mom doesn't know that Tanner met with Emily one-on-one. A cop comes by and drops off a key to sign back in related to a case. Emily sees it on the desk, and then it has Wilden's name on it. Pam confirms the investigation is still ongoing into Wilden's killer. Emily asks her to print out directions to the clinic for the Prolotherapy, and Pam goes off to do that. Emily stares at her mom's keys to the key lock box.
My question for this is, do they not have cameras?
Oh, they 100% do. So, like, it's amazing that they wouldn't look into it. Like, wasn't that a big thing? Oh, wait, no. That isn't a thing, actually, because Tanner says, someone else relayed a message that you were there.
Mm-hmm. Someone saw you.
Yeah, so I guess they don't. Seems dumb.
A has cameras everywhere.
I know.
Rosewood PD has never once bothered to look.
Yeah. Arya comes home as Byron gets off the phone. Mike's dad is suing Mike.
Even the costume store had cameras.
I know, exactly. Costume store has better security. Listen, if you're going to Rosewood and you're going to rob something, police department, not the Halloween store.
Also, did you say Mike's dad
Yes.
was suing Mike?
Byron is taking Mike to court. Connor's dad is suing
His
Mike.
own minor?
Exactly.
Or charging him with something. I don't know.
Yeah, at least like charging,
The police
putting
are
charges
involved.
against him. And wants him expelled. And Byron asks if there's any tension like going on there. Like, why would like Connor want to go after Mike? Arya says, I think it's happening because me, and tells him all the details on this. Byron's like, why didn't you come to me about this? And like, why would he say those things? Arya says, there's been some talk amongst like the student body about me and Fitz. Byron says, I'm not concerned with him. I'm more concerned about Connor and Mike, and heads off to go find Mike. Hanna is writing her mom's name on checks, like forging her like signature as Spencer comes home. And she tells Spencer that she doesn't want her mom to come back to like no water or lights. Dire straits for like Hanna.
Also, why is her dad not just paying the fucking bills?
I know. Tom just bails, goes back to his other family. Yeah, you don't rely on him. Caleb, bad move bringing him in anyway. Spencer.
Well, I mean, she needed some parent, or else they would have sent her to him. So
Right.
at least.
And she's like talking about that might happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this scene, Spencer has a bad look on her face, and Hanna says, my mom isn't coming home soon, is she? Spencer says, I overheard my parents talking strategy. If he attacked her, it's involuntary manslaughter, which is 20 years, or if it's not, then it's first-degree murder, which is life. Spencer says it looks bad, and Hanna says it's only how A made it look, and then cries, and Spencer embraces her. At the private airport, Caleb and Toby ask at the desk. This is a man by the name that we find out is Nigel Wright, who threw my brain through a loop. So I'm like, this is a character we know already. We know this character. Turns out this man is from Riverdale.
But also, he was the one that walked Jenna in at the funeral.
So we did see him before.
Yes. But he is also Charles from Riverdale.
Yes.
He has the serial killer gene.
So we should all be suspicious.
And he works for the FBI.
Right. That's right.
And him and Betty, I mean, he helps Betty get her career off the ground. And then he has his secret lover boyfriend who was also pretending to be Betty's brother, Chip.
Who was a different serial killer. Chip, yeah. Yeah, that is played by Wyatt Nash. But it was throwing me through a loop. I'm like, I have to, what? Where is he from?
He's also, I think, from a season of Survivor when I looked him up.
Yeah, that's so funny when you mention that.
You know, you do what you got to do.
He came in 7th place, right?
7th or 8th or something like that.
Good for him.
I don't know. I don't watch the show, and I don't know.
I probably watched, let's see, I was in elementary school when we stopped watching it. Stopped and started. So we maybe watched like 4 or 5 seasons.
All I remember was that like they were like, yeah, and then they have to like live on this island and eat these and I was like, I don't like camp. Like I don't ever. I have no dreams of camping. I have no aspiration of sleeping outside.
I feel like there was at least once a season, someone got like injured and had to be like airlifted out and like left the show.
Because
like someone got like burned.
They have to leave the show if they're like beyond you because you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's just so stupid. This whole thing is stupid.
Right.
It's a very stupid premise. If you're a Survivor fan, I'm sorry.
It was very
fun. Strange to me.
It was very fun. It is a very strange premise. Okay. Okay, but real quick. So that came off of Survivor was big. Castaway was big. That is why Lost became a show. They wanted another scripted television show on an island. And so this was like brought about by executives like Bob Iger and things. Like, I think it was Bob Iger. I think he was at ABC at the time. They wanted another show. So it's not even that someone brought them my idea. It's J.J. Abrams and I think Lindelof and Carlton Cuse like started putting it together based off that premise.
So Lost had no chance of ever making sense because it was created just to fill like a hole.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't supposed to be like this big mystery show. Like they kind of like pulled a fast one as far as I understand. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they just wanted more shows about like people on islands.
Why not just show Gulligan's Island reruns? I mean,
reboot Gulligan's, yeah. Well, they wanted fresh new material.
But Gulligan the Skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, the movie star, Professor and Marianne.
I was gonna say, and the rest. Okay, but I'll get back to the summary here.
Yeah, no.
So Nigel Wright, who works at the desk at this private airport, Caleb and Toby ask about the flight number and tail number for the plane. He says if it's not all in line, then it could be blocked due to like private flights. Like that just happens for like celebrities and bigwigs. Toby says you'd have the flight plan here, wouldn't you? And Nigel says yes. Caleb then slips him money to assist. Nigel is all too eager to take it and then shows him the flight records. It flew on the night of the fire and was supposed to be landing in Delaware. No passengers are listed, and the captain was named John Smith. Caleb asks what would happen if they wanted to fly elsewhere from Delaware, and Nigel says, well, the pilot just may not inform anybody. He's like, there was a lot of fog that night at Thornhill, and Thornhill's just like a small landing strip, so it would have been hard to land there. Caleb and Toby leave, and then Nigel makes a call on his cell phone. Arya and Spencer discuss Ashley's situation. Arya thinks A took a bat to Connor's car and is the one to blame. Emily rushes in and says, it's time to find a killer. We're breaking into Wilden's apartment, and shows him the keys. They enter his apartment, and it's all messy. Emily says, put on gloves as they try and then try and put things back where you found them. They start like looking around. The house phone rings, and they wait to see who it is on the voicemail. We see someone outside watching them. Caleb and Toby hit a dead end in their search, and Caleb goes to head home. Toby then says, like, it's really weird that Nigel guy knew it was foggy the night of the fire. Caleb says the pilot and the owner of the plane never led anywhere. Toby then tosses Caleb the lighter to ask what he makes of it, and it's the one with the compass on it, and it has NW, like for Northwest, or could it be Nigel Wright? Toby says he found it that night of the fire, and he wants to follow up with Nigel on it. Spencer, Arya, and Emily run into a dead end. Nothing to find there other than porn on his nightstand. Spencer notices there's no personal stuff in the apartment, like plants or anything, so he must have just only stopped in to eat and sleep. Arya then notices a box on the ground. Is like, did nobody look at that? They find inside spoiled meat. Spencer then finds a note from A inside that says, can't wait to see you at our little barbecue. Hanna is sad at home and prepares an outfit for the rearrangement. We see Byron and Mike talking to the principal as Arya waits outside. Fitz then walks by and asks if she's here to see the principal also, and she's like, no, it's for like Mike and Connor. They commiserate about Mike not doing it, and Fitz says, I get it, I can't be the one to swoop in and comfort you, but it kills me. And then Arya cuts him off and says, I know. Byron leaves the office, and him and Fitz greet each other, and Fitz asks if he can do anything. Byron says no. Arya, why don't you go home and wait? Arya leaves, and so does Fitz. Emily walks into the police station and sees her mom looking through her desk, surrounded by a bunch of cops, like overlooking her. And then Emily overhears two cops say that if she doesn't find the key, that they'll have a problem. Caleb and Toby go to visit Nigel, and Toby confronts him about the lighter. Nigel goes to run, and they shut him down. Nigel says he wasn't there and knows nothing about a fire. He eventually spills and says, I was paid to fake a flight plan. That's it. Nigel says, like, the person that came in here, her name was Drake. Cece Drake, I think. Says, take the money, and throws it at Toby and then runs away. Caleb says, let him go. I have his phone. Fitz rounds a corner and sees the principal talking on the phone while Mike sits on a bench. Fitz interrupts him to have a private word and takes him into the classroom. Fitz says, did anyone see Mike do it? Principal says the family on the other side is not going to stop like pressing charges. So I'm like doing him a favor if like I expel him out of school and he won't get any criminal charges thrown at him. Fitz said, I would hate to see Mike labeled a vandal and mentally ill, and it would be bad if the parents found out you asked his sister about medication. The principal then says maybe your personal connection to the family is causing an error in judgment. Caleb, Toby, and Spencer look at the phone that they took from Nigel and see all the calls are to the same number, including on the night of the fire. They wonder why Cece would go after the friends and if Cece was helping Wilden or the other way around. Spencer says Cece is out of town supposedly because she's afraid of him. Toby wonders if there's any reason why she wouldn't be A. Spencer says Cece visited Mona while she was in Radley. Toby then asks for the two of them to have a private conversation, and Caleb puts on his earmuffs. Toby asks Spencer how long ago did she find out about Cece visiting, and like Dr. Palmer mentioned a blonde girl, maybe it was Cece. Spencer doesn't completely shoot down the idea. Mike visits Arya, says Fitz came to my rescue, and the principal changed his tune and says like, you know, he's not going to back down, and like they have to like come up with evidence if I'm going to get kicked out of school. Mike says, I wish I had done something though, and if anything happens like this again, I want to be ready. Emily tries to log into the stake website to find out more information, but to no avail. Pam then comes in mad that Emily rescheduled her prolotherapy appointment and says, I'm going to bring you there tomorrow. Emily says, I can meet you at work, and Pam says, well, I won't be going there anymore at the moment because I'm suspended. Pam walks away, and Emily gets a message from A. You crashed Wilden's. Now I'll make it all come crashing down. Kisses. Arya goes to visit Fitz, but there's no answer. It just doesn't.
It doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, I know.
Mona wrote better clues.
Arya goes to visit Fitz, but there's no answer to the door, so she slips a note under it. He comes home and runs into her, and she says, I was leaving you a note. They have an awkward exchange before Arya leaves. Hanna visits Ashley and says she needs to plead self-defense and guilty so she can only get 20 years instead of life. Ashley's like, I'm not going to admit to a murder I didn't commit. Wilden doesn't get to die and leave me looking like a criminal. Absolute hero. Nigel makes tea at his office and talks to someone on screen. He says, the guy with the long hair, I think that's probably Caleb, took my phone. He apologizes for screwing up and says, puts the tea down on a little desk, and we see that there's large sunglasses on the table. Emily tries to sleep but can't.
And a folded up walking stick.
Oh, okay. I completely missed the folded up walking stick. I'm like, oh, it's Jenna from the glasses.
Yeah, they really wanted to make it obvious that they were both.
And I can see, like, since we're watching this on a short compressed time, I would totally not. I mean, I didn't even remember that he was the guy that she walked in with at the funeral. So it's like good to, this is 7 weeks removed from that.
Mm-hmm.
Emily tries to sleep but can't. She gets up and grabs the key to Wilden. She walks downstairs and hears her mom talking to her dad on the phone. Emily sneaks downstairs as Pam is in the living room and a car drives through their living room. Emily grabs her mom, who's all right, and leads her away. At a hardware store, we see a locksmith making keys in a gloved hand by Home Repair for Morons book, duct tape, and a $50 gift card, and then makes it out to Emily Fields. The end. I don't think Emily got that gift card.
At least not yet.
Yeah. I mean, when are they going to get it? Petty this A.
Okay. Let's talk. Pam. Pam, I know your friend's mom has been accused of murder, but don't comfort her.
It's wild.
Pam is the worst.
Pam is absolutely the worst. It's so selfish. She's like, your family is what's important right now. Don't you know what I'm going through? There's a lot happening in our lives.
Parentifying her daughter.
Yes.
More in the next episode.
100%. We get a bit more on that, on exactly what she's doing, but she's putting everything on Emily to have to take care of the family, take care of her, and it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
It's laughable in this this one because it's oh my god, because it's so heightened,
mm-hmm.
right? Because I don't think either of us think Ashley's the murderer, but well, I mean, you would know. But
I think it's cute that you think I remember who killed Wilden.
Right.
I literally, gun to my head, would have to make a guess right now. Someone would be like, who did it? And I'd be like, I think it's
Nigel. But that's such a ludicrous situation to find yourself in, that you're not going to go. The mom isn't letting the daughter go comfort Hanna. Yeah, whose parents are gone. Mm-hmm. Her father is absent.
Mm-hmm.
Is having to forge her mom's names on checks to keep bills running in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pam is like, well, come on. Think of me first. It's wild. It is wild. And then on a different note, poor Hanna, again, the friends are at least there for her at the beginning of the episode, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But Caleb, I think she would rather have you there than running off and trying to collect clues at the moment.
Well, I think he's trying to get rid of the issue before her mom gets sent away.
Yeah, that's fair. But maybe get some visits.
Maybe.
I mean, if he was visiting more.
But didn't her dad tell him not to come around?
Yeah, but he's not there.
It's true.
Yeah.
Did Mike fuck up the car?
No, which is such a funny turn. To find Mike being like, oh man, I need to be ready for next time so I can do that.
You know how hard
Mike
it is
learns
to take
nothing.
a bet? I listened to Before He Cheats. I know you just take a Louisville Slugger to both headlights.
There you go. But the turn that Mike is like, okay, I got a new lease on life. I really should have been the one to beat it up, or else, because this was all for nothing. At least it should be for something next time.
Amen. Violence, not the answer, but maybe.
Sometimes. He's like, Connor's a wuss.
Yeah. Oh, he brought his mommy and daddy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can't handle the heat. And then, it's weird where Mike's storyline is going.
Mike's storyline. You're about to go on an adventure with Mike.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's like this season or the next one where we get like a romantic partner for Mike.
Oh, wow. That's like a lot of screen time then.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
You will never guess who it is.
Do we already know them?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. See what happens.
You will. You will see what happens.
Oh boy.
Oh, it'll be a journey. Toby and Caleb are besties
Yeah.
for the resties.
Yeah, they're like older Hardy Boys. I never read Hardy Boys, so I don't know how old they were.
Me neither.
But they're, couple of boy detectives.
Boy detective.
They're like, yeah, let's get out there. It's so funny, the intro scene. But I turned to you, like when you were saying, I'm like, as they're just like talking about stuff, I'm like, I think this is the first time we've ever had a scene of them just like talking to each other. And you were right of just being like, it's not about them, which is like 100% true. It was just like, oh, we haven't gotten this yet. And I like, so it's like a fun new area that I think the writers like found. It's like, oh, we could like probably start pairing up like these characters to have a good time.
Well, and they also started, I think they were trying to test like, because Caleb was going to get that spinoff. So it's like, how much Caleb time, like what do we do? Like, how do we invest more Caleb into this? And like Caleb without Hanna or Caleb with Hanna, and Hanna shows up a little, but like,
yeah. How much do audiences like just Caleb doing his own thing? Often his own little adventure with Toby, and they get to shake down Nigel. But I don't think it's a barometer of a bad thing one way or another that we haven't gotten them there, because I think it is
so many Spencer and Caleb scenes.
Yeah, I'm like surprised because there's also very minor in the last episode too, where like they check in. Yeah, but we need more Caleb and Arya.
And we got it early too. Remember when they were like doing the computer stuff?
Oh, right.
Like your software slaves or whatever.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, forget what it is. But yeah, she comes to him to like figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because he and Hanna were not together or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's interesting. But it just made me think of, but a lot of people talk about the Bechdel test and all that stuff, and that can be a barometer for like whether or not you like just aren't going to enjoy a thing or whatever. I don't think it should be taken as like a big thing of going thumbs up, thumbs down, because I think what is generally trying to get at is like we just want a diversity of perspectives to watch a show in, rather than a barometer of good thing, bad thing. So I think like in a sense, it's nice that we have Pretty Little Liars and we get to season 4 and it's like, okay, cool. We haven't had, it's like almost refreshing to have a scene where two guys like go do things together.
Yeah, but
because
it's
of
still
perspective.
It's still about the girls, so it still wouldn't pass like a reverse Bechdel test. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Nor does it need to, because it's called Pretty Little Liars.
Exactly.
It's about the Pretty Little Liars, and like the boys may be pretty, but they're not the little liars.
No. So it just got me thinking of that as like a barometer thing, is like, and really what the idea in general of people asking for is just like, yeah, I would like a show where like it is about the women.
It's
in a sense
truly about them.
Yeah.
It's like Gilmore Girls, Gilmore Girls though has scenes where you get Taylor and Luke fighting, and you're like, this has nothing to do with anyone else, and it's like some of the best stuff.
Okay, that is like one of my favorite scenes.
Or anything with Kirk.
Yes, but the scene where he's arguing with Taylor, is that about the candy store
when he puts the window?
Oh, that one's good too. But where he yells Taylor no like over and over, and if you ask me, yeah. That's a good scene.
Will Emily's shoulder heal?
That's a very good question. Good God, it is in really bad straits. She should probably go to Prolotherapy or whatever it is. I think we'll get to some point where like her shoulder's in like workable condition, and she like, I do think we'll get that scene where I hope we do at least. We come back around to her loving swimming in a way that's decoupled from like she has to do it. And I hope that's like going along with her shoulder therapy healing. You know, where she's like, this isn't my gateway to anywhere. It's like I can just enjoy doing something.
I love it.
Pretty good character growth.
Why would they go into Wilden's house?
You gotta roll up your sleeves. You gotta get dirty. You gotta do the investigating. It seems like a really bad idea since police have been there.
Yeah.
So like, I understand that they, as amateur sleuths, they're like gotta see if they can find anything from A, and they do kind of find something. They've at least find a connection. So they're not entirely wrong for going, but the consequences of getting her mom suspended.
Well, and being spotted.
Right. It's really funny. So, you know, it's not the best idea, but like, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I feel like we're in a season of bad decisions. Like all the characters are just making bad decisions left, right, and center.
Yeah. And I think Spencer has her head on straight this season for the most part. She was just bulldozing people. But otherwise it's been a little all over the place. Emily's is very active. She's like, I am doing things and not thinking about what the consequences will be.
She's got a little Hanna energy.
Yeah. And then Hanna is just like,
Nigel bolts, you know, he runs for it.
Yeah.
Love that. Was Cece actually involved at all?
I think no.
You think it's a setup from Jenna?
Yes. If we're talking about my two, my other hands off camera, but if it's talking about my
just listen to, honey. So.
Yeah, that's also the visual medium of podcasting. The two groups that enforces my two groups theory, essentially.
Okay.
Sniping at each other.
Cute. I like it.
It is cute.
Why and how did that car end up in Emily's house? There's no one driving it? There's no one in it?
Apparently not. That's like the wildest reveal. I thought that there would be someone in it that would be like, I don't know what happened. I was all of a sudden behind the wheel or something like that. That would connect to the mystery.
That I can do hypnosis now.
Oh, they're drug people.
I was just teasing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm here.
You're going to drive a car into the Fieldses.
The Fieldses?
Yeah, the Fieldses.
Not the Fields.
No. Fieldses. Possessive. And it's A is really playing a dangerous game here. Like, that's wild. That's massive damage.
Yeah.
You would think that top floor could almost collapse too if it hit the right spot. And like,
A doesn't care about their safety in this season.
No. And A being like, you went snooping in Wilden, so I'm gonna run a car into your house.
Where did the key to Wilden's go? Because Emily's bringing it downstairs when that happened.
Oh, I thought she had just still held on to it.
Okay. Just in her hand?
Yeah.
When she was moving her mom out of the way? And her mom just didn't see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably like, I don't know, she probably didn't have any pockets on the jammy shorts or something, but...
No.
Yeah, I just thought she held on to the key. I guess she could have dropped it and it could have gotten like taken by whoever was behind the wheel.
Fair enough.
I don't know. But, yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts on this episode?
Poor Ashley in prison is just going through it.
She is.
I like that the show makes we get kind of more of that in the next episode too. That she is in such bad straits because it's a police officer. If it was anybody else, things would be much different. But they're throwing the book at her because it's a police officer. And we get, like I said, we get more of that next episode. But I thought that was good here. And those scenes are, are good. Poor Ashley.
Poor Ashley.
And like I said, hero of being like, he doesn't get to make me look like a villain from beyond the grave. I don't care if he's dead. He was still an asshole.
Amen.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. A light episode.
Yeah.
Like there's things moving forward, but like, yeah, not too exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
Before we get into the next episode recap, I looked up Prolotherapy, known as an alternative medicine practice. It's like where you inject an irritant at the site of like the injury to like promote like supposedly to like promote like healing and things there, but it's not FDA approved and is not covered by insurance. So it's like alternative, essentially.
Got it.
And there's like no, supposedly according to Cleveland Clinic, that there's no scientific basis for like improving anything. So yeah, maybe stick to the doctor fields. But anyway, episode 79, season 4, episode 8, The Guilty Girl's Handbook. Emily and Pam sit in their new motel room. Pam is calling the police. They find out that the car was stolen, but there was no sign of the driver at all. And Pam hangs up angry and wonders how someone can run away from an accident like that without someone seeing them. Emily says, I'll come straight home after work. But Pam says, you need to go to your college admissions meeting and things today. Just don't think about me. The other, excuse me. The three friends check in on Emily. Hanna is worried about her mom, about Ashley, and is wondering where Veronica is. They're like at Spencer's house and wondering where Veronica is. Veronica then steps in, and Hanna asks what happened to her mom. At the arraignment, they pled not guilty, and the judge refused to grant Ashley bail because it's a police officer that died. Ashley is going to be moved to the state prison in Muncie until a trial. Hanna is pissed and blames Veronica and storms off. Hanna feels guilty as Arya and Spencer comfort her. Spencer says, my mom wins like cases, like she always does. Hanna says, you two can go to school. I'll be fine. And I hope I don't have to move in with my dad. Hanna says, apologize to your mom for me, Spencer. Mike stops Arya on the way to school. Arya is in charge with their dad out of town, and Mike says, don't wait up after the game. I have to hang with the guys since the whole Connor's car thing. Arya notices Mike's new martial arts bag from the studio where Jake is a teacher. Mike says he's taking a class at the place. Arya asks why, and he says self-defense. Fitz is on the phone talking to Malcolm about a drawing as Emily comes in. He's surprised she's there and expresses condolences for what happened. Emily urges him, they need to meet now about college admission stuff. I don't want to come back later. Fitz says, I know Mona got some things pinned on her and stuff, but is there anybody else who wants to hurt you all? Could be coming back after you? And Emily's like, no.
Why doesn't anyone go, is it Mona again?
They're just like us. They're like, well, Mona's bestie, so can't be her.
She's a boss babe. She has perfect grades, and she obviously doesn't sleep. So
now, Emily, I would ask if it was Mona, but she has the top grade in my class.
Well, besides Spencer.
Right. This school needs her. Unlike Spencer, she's going to Penn. What a turn.
Scandal.
Caleb and Spencer discuss Hanna being alone and everything with Ashley and what to do, and wants to know how the friends are all doing. Spencer says A must be feeling the pressure and asks about the number from Nigel's phone. Caleb says it's associated with 3 people and 3 addresses in New York. Toby went to New York to find some real answers, and we'll see which one is real. See you next week, Toby. Emily and Fitz run through colleges and how to promote herself. He urges her to call her old supervisors from working in Haiti to write her a reference. Hanna gets a call from her mom. Ashley says she's okay and don't worry about me. We'll get through this and we'll be all right. Veronica is going to bring you tomorrow to see me so I can say goodbye. But she doesn't. She to say and cuts off by goodbye. They exchange I love yous and say goodbye on the phone. And Hanna then walks around the corner in her house and says thank you for coming to Mona, who's sitting in the kitchen. Mona asks what she wants, and Hanna says, I'm going to plead guilty to killing Wilden. I need you to help me lie. Mona's you're taking an awful big chance talking to me. I could have set Ashley up. Hanna asks if she was serious that she never wanted the new A to hurt Ashley, and Mona says yes. Then Hanna urges her to help. This is going to be the biggest lie she's ever told, and she needs her help to make it sound perfect, and that Mona is the only one who knows how to live with a lie. All the rest of us just made just lie.
Yeah, Mona lived a lie.
Mm-hmm. Spencer comes home to find a man named Beckett Fry sorting legal boxes. He's a new intern for Veronica, and the DA sent all the files that need to go with the case to Veronica, but as a fuck you, they sent it to her home instead of her office. Spencer offers to help with the boxes. Mona trains Hanna on how to lie to the cops. Beckett is on the phone while Spencer digs through the boxes. She sees a file for Radley, and if you look closely enough, there's a Kavanaugh mentioned in the report. Jake, the instructor, meets Arya. That's how I write all of these notes for him. Meets Arya, and she asks if Mike is taking a class from him, and she's worried about Mike. Jake mentions that Mike said something odd, that it's hard to focus on the game when your teammates are playing against you. Like, must be teammates going after him. Yeah. Jake asks if she's scared or needs help, and he's here for her, like, without any of the complications. We love Jake. Positive masculinity.
Yeah. I was always team Jake. I remember watching this in real time, and I was like,
yeah,
he's cute. He does his little pow pow pows.
Mm-hmm. And he's like I understand you told me that it's not appropriate for us to date like right now, but like, well, I'm here to help.
Yeah. Like, I asked if you were hurt or you were injured, and you, literary queen, don't understand metaphor. So,
right. Subtext, I don't understand.
I'm sorry. This is a truth I don't want to address. I will be pretending I'm ignorant.
Exactly. Yeah. All for Team Jake here.
And he gets the Insidious paid product promo, I assume.
Yes, he does. Wow, Insidious too.
You want to go see it too?
I heard the first one was so scary. Me too.
I watched it twice.
Right. It's so funny.
Me over here going, I will never watch that film.
Yeah, totally. It's just the literal version of like the 30 Rock making fun of the Snapple ad where they get in the elevator with the Snapple guy. Yeah. Spencer goes to Radley to talk to Eddie Lamb. He's happy to see her, and she's like, I came to thank everyone who like helped her. And he's like, I brought her cookies. Look inside. He opens up the cookie box, and there's the report from Wilden relating to Eddie Lamb. It just reminded me of that Nathan For You thing where it's like, I hope you're hungry for nothing.
Well, there were cookies in there too.
I know, but it's like, just like, open up the box.
Uh-huh.
So sly. Eddie, that's why we love Spencer, the sense of drama.
She's dramatic and she's brilliant. And that makes her unparalleled.
It's so good. Eddie was interviewed by Wilden on the night Toby's mom died. Eddie said that she jumped from the roof, but Spencer points out that the official report had her going out a window. Why is there that discrepancy? Spencer asked why Wilden would lie, and Eddie says, don't you ever wonder how a man went from patrolman to detective so fast? I had no one to tell because he was the police. He urges Spencer to forget about this. Spencer says, my friend Hannah's mom is in jail, and I want to know who else wanted Wilden dead. Hanna asked Mona about the shoe print where Wilden was killed, and they talk through the story of Hanna wearing Ashley's shoes on the night that she killed Wilden, and then threw the shoes away. Mm-hmm. Emily's old supervisor Zoe meets her for coffee. Zoe asks how she's been, and like she hasn't heard from her at all, and was worried she was still dealing with losing Maya. And then builds Emily up and says, I'm putting together another team this summer to go to Nicaragua, and Emily is interested in joining. Kayla visits Ashley, and Ashley wonders what Hanna will do if things don't work out in the trial. Now, Hanna wants results and will just charge right into a situation without thinking. Ashley doesn't want her making any mistakes and wants Caleb to talk to her. Caleb says, I'll do what I can. Little does Ashley just know. She's got the sense about her daughter. Oh, she's probably meeting with Mona right now.
She's going to do something dumb.
Emily tells Zoe about her injury, and Zoe agrees to write her a reference. Pam then comes to her table. Pam met with the adjuster, and they won't be back in their home for a few months, and asks Emily to drop something off at the station. Emily agrees, and Pam leaves. Zoe asks what's going on, and like, is everything okay? And Emily's like, it's all fine. Like, I can go through on the mission. It'll be good. Mona coaches Hanna through talking about like using the gun and the bullets. Hanna gets mad when Mona asks her to recall feelings, like to pull up the feelings that you would feel like when you killed someone. We then see the vision of the scenario, and Mona coaches Hanna through making sure that it was self-defense. And then there's a knock at the back door, and we see that it's Caleb. Caleb asks why Mona's here. Hanna says Mona came came over here when she found out about Ashley. Caleb tries to call Hanna out in the situation, but Hanna just gets angry and talks about how crazy things are, says leave me alone for now. Caleb says sure and leaves. Mona assures her they're almost finished. Beckett and Veronica are working in the kitchen as Spencer comes home. Beckett then privately asks Spencer if she wants him to slip the file back into the box before Veronica notices. Spencer's like, I'll take care of it myself. Arya is home alone as she hears cars revving and then goes to call Mike as another guy picks up. The guy calls out for him and says, Mike's not like conscious again yet. And the guy sets down the phone and Arya is freaking out. Mona continues to coach Hanna about seeing Wilden's car there and if there was anybody else there. And then we see another vision where he's mad and threatens Hanna. Mona says, you were all alone out there and you were the only one who could solve things. And then Hanna shoots him and Mona says, you shot him twice. In the vision, we see Hanna look over and see that Ashley's standing there. Mona then finishes coaching Hanna through the story. Hanna then gets ready and goes to leave for the police, but Caleb stops her. Jake comes to Arya's house. They discuss that Mike and friends could be at an arcade. Arya gets a call from Mike saying the guy was just messing with you and he'll be staying at a friend's house tonight. Arya's pissed that Jake isn't thinking of her feelings, or not Jake. Mike isn't thinking of her feelings at all and is putting her through the ringer tonight. Jake says he just doesn't understand at all, young guys essentially. Mike can take care of himself though. I'm more worried about you. Would you like me to stay a while? 1 minute. Woo! We're alive. All right. Caleb yells at Hanna to not go to the police. Neither you or your mom is going to prison. And then Hannah's like, well, it'll be less of a sentence for me. And he's like, prison for kids is still prison. And you're not going there for something someone else did.
Also, they're very close to 18.
Yes, extremely. Hanna says, you think my mom shot Wilden. Caleb says, I did. But after I saw her, I know she never killed anybody. Emily comes home to Pam at the motel and says, everyone is going to want you back at the station, Mom. I just know it. Pam says, I'm going to look for other work tomorrow. Emily tells her about the recommendation from Zoe, or the reference from Zoe for college and the trip to Nicaragua. Pam looks sad, and Emily's like, well, I don't have to spend the whole summer there. Pam's like, don't worry about me, and then breaks down crying. We get a shot of women's legs and heels walking to a police station, and we see it's Mona. She says, I'm here to see a detective about a murder. Jake and Arya find themselves in an ad for Insidious 2 and agree to go see it together. Oh, it's a date? Uh-oh. Spencer walks downstairs to see her mom, and she asks about Ashley. Veronica says she'll be moved tomorrow, and I'll keep after the judge until she agrees to bail. Spencer shows Veronica the file, to which she sighs and says, I should have warned Beckett about you. Spencer says it's not useless information. It's about Wilden, Radley, and Toby's mom. The notes don't match the official report for how she died. Veronica says it's not relevant to this case, and Spencer says maybe Toby's mom didn't kill herself. Veronica says, finding out stuff about this isn't going to bring back Toby's mom. Help him move on instead. Veronica then gets a call and sounds distraught. She tells Spencer that Mona's at the station and confessed to killing Wilden. We get a montage of all the girls getting notified, getting text from Spencer. The friends then all arrive at the police station. They see Mona led into a room. She smiles at them before the blinds are drawn. Our A scene is a gloved hand adds a drill bit to an electric drill, and they start drilling into a plank of wood, which we see is drilling holes into a wooden floor. The end.
Okay. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Who drove into Emily's house?
The got away thing and just nobody being in the car.
And this is before we had self-driving cars. Remember that.
Right, exactly. This isn't like a Tesla gone wrong. One of those then it would have been on fire.
Those Google cars.
Right, exactly. Man. That's a tough one. The Melissa, Jenna, Shauna team, I think, is maybe responsible for it.
Okay.
Because yeah, that's I that would be the one that makes sense to me.
Is Emily gonna actually go on her charity trip to Nicaragua?
No, I don't think so.
Is Emily gonna get into good colleges without swimming?
She's gonna get into a college without swimming. I don't know if it's she's already really scaling down her search for small schools and stuff. Also but without doing any conversation with Paige on this. So does Paige still think they're going to Stanford together? We don't get any
she's not
Paige.
Swimming, so there's no way for her to get that scholarship, which was Paige's plan, that Emily would get that other Stanford scholarship.
Right. We just haven't gotten any reaction on Paige, how Paige feels about all this, because that was the big plan. We've gotten a lot of Emily going on her own to think about these small schools.
We haven't had a lot of Paige lately.
No, she's been missing.
She comes back in the second half of 4, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, because ostensibly they're still dating.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also wondering, if like Zoe's a character to stay.
Oh.
But I don't know. So that was what I was also curious about. But so yeah, Emily's. So I think that has to come back around. I would assume of that being a source of tension because Paige is very put together and has her
plan. Yeah,
exactly. And so what happens when plans aren't going to work out, especially for something that's like college and like the rest of their life?
What do you make of Emily's parentification of her mother in this episode?
Yeah, it is. Damn, they hit nail on the head on this. I am interested to see where it goes too, but it's a very good depiction of a mother who is making their child do the parenting. Instead of, it's all about Pam feeling like it's okay to, as a parent, to be like distraught about like things happening. Like a car went into your house and you can't live there, and your husband is a million miles away, or at least feels that way, like hundreds of miles away. And you had all this shit happen to where the police thought you were abusing your child, but you weren't. And then you got suspended from your job, and you don't know why, for something that you didn't think you did. Mm-hmm. So like a lot's going on, but she's putting it all on Emily to do this, and is not. You would think like when your child is coming back excited about a trip, that you would then be like, the correct thing to do as a parent would be like, yes, how exciting. I'm so excited for you to be able to do this. Mm-hmm. Not like, oh my God, you're going to leave me. It's all her feelings are being dumped on Emily in a very like.
And she's not communicating them. She's forcing Emily to read them.
Yes. She's keeping everything like bottled in but
she's like, no, it's good. But then she's like crying instead of being like, I'll just miss you, which is an okay reason to cry.
Right. And so then it falls on Emily to take care of her mother and like comfort her. And then now she doesn't probably feel empowered to go on this trip at all anymore because she has to take care of her mom
or leave for school.
So it's a real nail on the head here.
Something that I think this show actually does pretty well is showing the way adults treat teen girls versus teen boys. So like the principal asking Arya about her brother.
Right.
Wildly inappropriate. Basically like making her responsible for him.
Yeah.
And like continuously doing this. He does the same thing with her when it comes to Fitz. She, once again, the teenage girl is responsible for the man.
Yes.
And what happened. And she is put on the spot for it.
Right. Is your brother still taking his medication? Why would she need to know that or even know that?
Why would she? Yeah.
I guess I don't pay attention to what he does with his
is that
life.
what we're crushing up on the table and snorting in the morning? Right. Were we not supposed to share those? Like it's just so, and so
I'm so much more focused now.
Yeah, we have that. We have Hanna having to take care of her home and her mother. I mean, that's, in that case, it's not her mother's fault.
Yeah.
But because her father doesn't step up. And we have Emily who's doing that for her mother. And I think that's and then Spencer's basically like a fucking feral cat that's raising herself.
Her parents aren't asking her to do anything except get into pen.
Be smart.
Yeah.
Be smarter than everyone else.
Right.
But I do think it shows that really well, and like the expectations we have on girls, and even like with Spencer's, it's like that like if you come from, or if your one personality trait is that you are going to attend a prestigious school, or you're going to do something big and important, and then you don't, or you can't, or something happens that delays that, does that redefine you?
Yeah.
And like, how does that feel for you? And I think that's actually really well done.
Totally.
Like I used to think the show was not very realistic about teenagers, like at the time, because I was like,
they're heightened situations.
But it's because like the unrealistic part is the fact that they're being cyber stalked, and it's really whatever A is doing is the truly unrealistic part.
The the unrealistic parts are how all the side characters are able to do their things, because we don't get a view in what their home life is. Like Mona, what the hell are does she even have parents? Doing? Right, she's ostensibly adult, like this doing things on her own, like nothing there. And it's like the same for like Toby and Jenna. Like what
Toby was like 18. Like he like had like a I left kind of storyline.
Right. But there was like a point where it's like their parents were gone.
Mm-hmm.
But like what did that connect to anything? Like just gone. And so that's like the only other unrealistic part. It's just like these teens ostensibly acting as adults because they don't have the capacity to also include their parents in this. But I think what the girls have to do, how that redefines them, like essentially like you were talking about, like for how their parents are making them, or like the world is making them act. Like that for Emily, that means that she feels that she has to find a solution to college and doing all these things on her own.
And that she has no value without the one thing she was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And for Spencer not getting into Penn and like it's really, I think it's pretty well done for that aspect.
Totally.
I mean, the rest of it's obviously ridiculous, but
right. Yes. Yeah, but the emotional core is like there, and Emily's, even before, when even if like there wasn't like the A part of lying, like she would still think that she would need to do things on her own because she can't rely on her parents because she's the one taking care of them
emotionally.
Yeah. So they
weren't emotionally mature enough to accept who she was as a person.
No. So she's always had to be on her own. So yeah.
Yeah. Did Mona kill Wilden?
No. I think this is all a tactic, but I don't know why. Because I think Mona doing this for Hanna, I think she is partially doing this for Hanna, because I think there is still that part of her that like she's like, yes, you were my good friend. Even more so that was part of her motivation that we learned at the end of the A episode. But I also think there's another play here that we don't know about, because I don't think Mona does things ever completely altruistically.
Fair enough.
Fair.
I will say Spencer's mom has one scene where I'm like, you do know your child. And that's when she's like, I should have warned Beckett about you.
Yeah. It's so funny. She just sighs and it's just like, of course. Yeah, she's just not around.
Will Ashley be released now that Mona's confessed?
I never had a doubt until we started recording. I was like, yeah, she's out next week. And then I'm right.
Okay.
So, I'm going to go with that. We're going to have Ashley, feeling not fresh and fierce, but at least free.
There we go. Who, Black Hoodie, whoever it is, and why are they drilling holes in the floor?
Yeah. And I'm assuming Arya's, because she's the only one with wooden floors. Because their entire house is like, wood.
She's the only one we've seen the basement for too, huh?
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about the basement. So I just thought wooden floors, Arya's house.
Okay.
Why? Very good question. Why are you drilling holes? What are you doing? I don't know. Look in on the house, I guess. Look at everybody's shoes. Something to do with Mike? I don't know.
It's just Mike with the drill. Just
exactly. Like, can't go beat up cars.
All right. Are you ready to give us your theories?
Yeah. This will be a pretty quick one. There wasn't too much action going on, but we'll at least step into the corner. So let us step into Theory Corner. Welcome to Theory Corner, everybody. So I think the only kind of big new thing to add on here is Jenna being active in some sort of plan machination.
Her and Nigel.
Yes, and I think we get and I'm still going with the idea that the confirmation of the CC that he mentioned is to like throw CC under the bus.
Okay.
And that's a story essentially, and so his part to play was maybe interfacing with the person in the red coat that was flying, but that Jenna, I don't think Jenna's in on that. I think Jenna is now working with this person to understand, to like keep tabs almost.
Okay.
Like Jenna finds out that this plane, sorry, just, we've gotten to this point where this high school is keeping track of a private plane. Every now and then I hear what I'm talking about and I start laughing. And she was keeping an eye on tabs on this plane. And so then got in touch with Nigel essentially and is, got close to him because Nigel seems very persuadable.
Yeah.
He's like, he doesn't even count the money that Caleb gave him. It's like, that's a 20, yeah, sure.
Good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it doesn't seem like it. I still think that they were trying to kill Redcoat and the friends and whoever was there. And I think that was.
Do you think Jenna's a cold-blooded murderer?
Well, I guess we found out that was Wilden. And so I think it was part of that like crew. So maybe Wilden was the one that found out about plane and then like was like, Jenna, you're gonna find out about this. Forced her to do it, which I could see happening. Until they, wanted to get one up on over him. But they were like at least working together on these things.
Okay.
Wilden was a friend when I first came to Rosewood, as she says. I don't think there's any other big like mystery stuff really going on here. Everything else is very individual character stuff, and like Ashley getting out of jail potentially. Yeah, no, it's kind of a light week on the big A plot line, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I don't think I have too much more to add then. So cool. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. I'll give you all 30 minutes back. See you all next time. Bye-bye.
Any final thoughts on the episode?
No, I think that's kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
Lightest week in a while.
I know.
A little bit of a shorter runtime, but I would love to look forward to more Caleb and Toby, Hardy Boy detective stories in the future.
Boy Wonder.
And
you'll get what you want, honey. There'll be more Caleb and Toby. I'm
interested to see where the Fields family plotline goes.
It is an interesting one.
It's wild. I was so surprised by the car coming out of nowhere at the end of the 7th episode.
That's Pretty Little Liars. Sometimes they just throw a car at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good stuff. So, but yep, it'll pick up next week.
Well,
plugs. You can find this podcast, if you'd like the video version, at dead_ends on YouTube. You can also find it on all your audio podcast platforms of choice at Dead Ends. And you can follow us on Twitter at Dead Ends Podcast, just to see episode updates and things. And then you can also send us emails at deadendspcast if you got any questions, theories, all that good sort of stuff. And I did want to check before we are out of here on our schedule, because I think we're coming up on, looking recent, the shift over to Ravenswood soon. So we'll do next couple, so we'll be doing 3 weeks. We'll be doing 2. So it'll be, is next week 11 and 12? No. We just did 8.
Yeah, so it'll be 9 and 10
9,
11,
10,
11 and 12. So that's 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then we'll do the Halloween on its own, which is the backdoor pilot for Ravenswood, and then switching over to Ravenswood. And watching alternate episodes of that. And we may, I think we should probably take a break at one point in the next couple weeks here, when we are going to go on vacation, just to give ourselves some nice extra time.
Sounds good.
So that'll be in a couple weeks. So we'll probably be taking a break before the Halloween one. Come back after the break for the Ravenswood backdoor pilot. Launch into Ravenswood after that.
It is a backdoor pilot, but it also like there's a lot other like plot that happens. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't just call it a backdoor pilot. You really needed it to further the plot for the rest of the season. And you don't need to know what happens in Ravenswood to understand the rest of the season.
Okay. Well, cool. All right, everybody. Well, we are still here. We're going to find out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.